Every star, every planet has a soul. The sun, the moon, the stars are visible gods. They move. Because they are alive, they have souls. Trees and animals also have souls. The kind and beautiful Creator has created a marvelous world. Then, the students ask, why is there so much evil in the world? Because, says Plato, the world you see is only a shadow of the spiritual world. You are sitting in a cave with your backs to the light, and what you see on the wall in front of you is not the things themselves but their shadows. What you hear is not sound, but an echo. Turn round and look behind you. Go up the narrow, steep path under the ground. You will see the sky, the sun. At first, your eyes will be dazzled. The light will be foreign to you. It is not easy to see the truth because man is bound by his habits. You are so used to shadows and echoes that when you see the truth, you may be inclined to reject it. But as your eyes become accustomed, you begin to see the sun, the truth. The sun is the source of wisdom, truth, and good. It illuminates the world, but it takes courage to see it directly. That is why people often prefer to stay in the dark, because the truth is sometimes uncomfortable. It is not easy to leave the familiar. Why is the allegory of the cave such an effective metaphor? Plato's allegory of the cave is one of the most powerful narratives describing the human journey of liberation. This journey is not only a physical movement, but also a mental transformation. People live with the reality they are used to and presented to them. Everything they see, hear, and believe is often just a shadow. But some people wonder what is behind these shadows. At that point, freedom begins. Freedom is to break free from your chains and step into the outside world. But this is not easy, because when a mind that has grown up with shadows sees the light for the first time, it is bewildered and even afraid. As Plato mentions, the person coming out of the cave cannot get used to the light at first. His eyes are dazzled, and he has difficulty understanding what he sees. Reaching knowledge is also like this. Learning the truth can be painful because you realize that everything you know is actually an illusion. But as your eyes adjust, you begin to see the truth more clearly. True freedom comes at the end of this process. As man expands his consciousness, he is not satisfied with what is presented to him. He asks his own questions and seeks his own answers. He begins to pay attention not only to what he sees, but also to what he does not see. He realizes that outside the cave, the truth stands in all its brightness. However, getting out of the cave is not enough. The real issue is to share this knowledge with those inside. But there is a big problem here. Those who live in the cave do not easily accept what the one who comes out tells them. They do not believe him because they are sure that the shadows they see are real. They even reject the outsider, despise him, and perhaps even become hostile to him. This is one of the most dramatic points in Plato's allegory of the cave. When the person who sees the truth tries to tell what he knows, he is often left alone. Because most people do not want to give up what they know. Truth is painful. Habits are comfortable. This is why the allegory of the cave is not only a philosophical narrative, but also a valid guide for today. Media, social norms, education systems, popular culture, all create a cave. It shapes what people should believe and think. Some, however, realize this illusion and break their chains. Those who seek the truth are the ones who come out of the cave, and they are the ones who bring light to the world, however lonely they may be. Allegory of the cave in modern life. Plato's allegory of the cave is a powerful metaphor not only for antiquity, but also for contemporary society. Today, many people live by watching the reflections of the truth, not the truth itself. When we accept what we see without questioning, we are no different from the prisoners in the cave. However, in this age, the shadows reflected on the wall of the cave are no longer created by firelight, but by television screens, social media streams, and manipulative news. Social media, mass media, and propaganda are one of the most powerful cave chains of the modern world. We are said to be in the information age, but we are also at the peak of disinformation. Our perceptions are constantly being manipulated. Others decide what is important, what is real or fake. The news we consume, Our social media feeds and algorithms present us with a reality that we only want to see or are asked to see. It is like prisoners in a cave thinking that the shadows on the wall are real. Media, political propaganda, and popular culture mold how society should think. However, in order to realize this, one must first acknowledge the existence of chains. The subconscious is another element shaped within this cave. Thought patterns built from childhood, norms accepted by society, and internalized beliefs cause people to stay in their own cave. The first thing to do to achieve freedom is to recognize these patterns. People should question what they believe and why they believe it, and they should critically filter information instead of merely consuming it. It is not possible to achieve true freedom without realizing how much one's own feelings and thoughts are influenced by the outside world. Plato's cave continues to live in different forms today. Education systems, ideologies, advertisements, social structures whose dynamics have changed but whose logic remains the same, try to keep people in a certain frame of thought. Most people do not even think of going beyond the lifestyles offered to them. Just like the prisoners in the cave, it is hard to imagine that there is any other alternative. But in every period, some people break their chains, go out, and see the truth. The question is, what happens when these people go back and try to tell the truth to others? Getting out of our own cave requires an inner journey in the first place. Questioning habits, going out of the comfort zone, going to the source of knowledge, and not believing everything we hear are the first steps. The human mind tends to believe the information it feels comfortable with, but freedom requires facing uncomfortable truths. Someone who wants to go outside the cave may at first want to go back because they are dazzled, because the light is uncomfortable. But the more one is exposed, the easier it becomes to see reality. Plato's message is clear. It is easy to stay in the cave because you don't have to leave the world you know. But those who want to see the truth have to take risks and break their chains. Today, those who want to turn towards the light instead of following the shadows must show the same courage. But the path to freedom is possible only for those who show this courage. What must we do to find true freedom? Finding true freedom requires not only physical independence, but also a mental transformation. When a person accepts the information presented to him as it is, he is chained to his own cave without realizing it. Most of the time, we accept what we have learnt as true without questioning it. However, freedom begins with a critical evaluation of information. Questioning what you hear, what you see, and the reality presented to you is to begin to notice the shadows on the wall of the cave. Instead of believing in information, it is necessary to investigate the source of that information, evaluate it from different perspectives, and test its accuracy. The truth is often hidden in the most thoroughly analyzed information, not the most repeated. Another way to achieve freedom is to realize our own cave. It is as important to explore our inner world as it is to question the outside world. The beliefs that limit us in our minds, the patterns we learnt in childhood, and the fears that have settled in our subconscious minds can be the elements that chain us. Someone who does not analyze his or her own thought system may think that he or she is free, when in fact, he or she may only remain in a larger cage. True freedom begins with understanding oneself and what one believes in, analyzing why you are afraid of certain things, why you reject certain ideas immediately, or why you find certain thoughts more attractive helps to break mental chains. Gaining new perspectives is also a cornerstone of freedom. Getting to know different cultures, reading new books, looking at the world from different perspectives makes it easier to get out of one's cave. The unknown is always frightening, but being open to new knowledge expands the walls of the mind. Examining ideas from different parts of the world, instead of adopting only the ideas accepted in one's own environment, allows one to reach a wider reality. Reading various philosophers, trying to understand different belief systems, being involved in art, science, and literature leads the individual to a deeper awareness. Having free thought is not limited to learning different information. The real issue is to develop a mind that can filter all information. A free mind does not unconditionally adhere to any authority or dogma. A person who does not stop questioning continues to develop and get closer to the truth. Instead of accepting the opinions of society, the media, propaganda, or his environment as they are, he analyzes every piece of information and comes to a conclusion with his own mind. True freedom is not only freedom of the body, but freedom from all ties that limit thought. Plato's metaphor of the cave describes not only the prisoners bound by chains, but also the blindness of living without questioning. However, everyone has the potential to break those chains. The important thing is to realize this potential and take action. True freedom is having the courage to see not only the reality you want to see, but the whole reality. How can we apply Plato's message to our own lives? Plato's allegory of the cave is not only a philosophical story, it contains a powerful message that is still relevant at the individual and societal level. So how can we apply it to our own lives? The first step is to recognize the cave we are in. What information do we accept unquestioningly? What habits, thought patterns, or environmental influences keep us chained? Are we really free, or do we live in a reality that is presented to us? It is possible to get out of our own cave by developing critical thinking and filtering all information. Human beings cannot make decisions based only on what they hear and see. One must research information, learn from different sources, gain new perspectives, and distinguish between right and wrong. It is easy to stay in the comfort zone, but those who want to see the truth must take risks. Getting to the truth can always be uncomfortable because it requires us to question our habits and beliefs. But true freedom belongs only to those who show this courage. In which cave do people live today? Most of us live in a reality created by the media without realizing it. Social media feeds, news, adverts, popular culture, algorithms, they all determine what we see and what we don't see. A lot of the information we hear around us is perhaps just shadows projected on our walls. But are we ready to move beyond these shadows? What do you think? In which cave are people chained today? What are you doing to break these chains in your own life? Share your thoughts in the comments, because it's important to hear different perspectives on this topic. If this content has made you think and opened your mind, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Don't miss new videos by turning on notifications, and share this video to help more people discover their own cave, because truth reaches more people as it is shared.